Alright, and welcome back to Kuma Style Reviews. This is round 2 of the MakeToys Giant versus TFC Hercules Battle Royale. For this round, we're going to be looking at the robot modes, as you probably could have guessed from all of the robots sitting here on my photo desk. And on a little side note, a lot of people always ask me, TJ, what do you do for photography? What's your setup like? You know, you're looking at it. Let's go ahead and zoom out. I have additional lights and things like that. But as you can see, it's just backer paper, a couple of lights, and yeah, I work at a separate photo studio and things like that for a lot of my shots. But when I'm shooting at home, that's all I do. It doesn't take a light box or anything fancy like that to take a good picture. It takes knowing how to take a good picture to take a good picture. So anybody who tells you about all those fancy accessories and stuff like that, really judge who's talking to you before you make the decision to invest in those kind of things. Anyways, on to the review. Going ahead and getting this started, we'll start with the two in the middle, our plowboys. It looks like we've got wheel loader and structor, I believe, from TFC over here. So let's go ahead and move our other bots out of the way. Alright, clear the ring, guys. Clear the ring. Sorry for reaching across here. I just don't have as much room on that side of the camera to go through. Definitely wish I did, though. So, alright, we've got structor. We've got wheel loader. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Lower the camera down. And we're rocking. Alright, I'll go ahead and give you guys a bit of a view of each bot. Unfortunately, with TFC Toys Structor, he's very much so just not balanced. He's got a very heavy backpack on the back. He's got the shovel as well. And let's go ahead and pull his ankle joints out though. See how much that helps? And okay, gives him some stability. But standing my buddy wheel loader over here, and I'll tell you this straight off the bat. Wheel loader is my number 1 or number 2 favorite giant bot. Like the aesthetic on him, the mask and things like that. He has a very Optimus Prime face. Unfortunately, his mask and hat are so dark that it's hard to see his baby blue eyes. But once you get him in hand, he is beautiful. But anyways, turning these guys around. Okay, you see they both have a bit of a backpack there. I feel like the MakeToys version does a much better job of, you know, having it balled up, whereas this one is pretty much just a big box. And the plow itself is laid out a lot better, for me personally, on the MakeToys version. Okay, now turn them back around. We'll go through the motions here. Bicep swivel, elbow, no rotating wrist, thigh swivel, full knees, and fully rotatable ankle joints, in and out, side to side. So a very posable toy in wheel loader. Now on the other hand, got TFC structor here. Bicep swivel, elbows that move in and out, no wrist articulation, waist articulation, knees that bend all the way in, and no ankles. Okay? And one thing that I've noticed just overall in all of these, the TFC bots just don't have as much in the foot area as the MakeToys bots do. And it's surprising because these are generally Voyager class figures, whereas the MakeToys box are deluxes. So you expect a little bit more articulation out of the bigger box. And I almost forgot that the TFC bot actually does have full waist articulation too. Alright, so one last look at those guys. And they're off. Next, let's go ahead and go with the crane box. Okay, we'll go ahead and get TFC Toys neck breaker out, as well as mobile crane, if I can find them. Now, off the bat, just so you guys do know, mobile crane comes with his crane screwed in to the side of his arm. However, you can actually take that off, unscrew it, shave a little bit off the back, peg here, just extend it a little bit further, and it pegs into his back. So a nice little fix to give him a bit more variance in where his crane goes. His crane can still go on the side of his arm, things like that, so nothing lost for sure. Alright, now taking a look at these guys, I'll go ahead and just rotate them to the side. Whoops. Kind of hard, that'd be crane. Back. Then turn them back around. And, just so everybody knows, the crane on a neck breaker, of course, is removable. You can put it on his back if you want to. Although his is so big that it makes him extremely back heavy. You pretty much have to hunch him forward to stand up. So that's not cool. That's not fun. And if you're going to store it, it just works a lot better on the side there. But since I'm looking at posability and stuff like that, I'm going to take it off right now, because it really hinders me being able to move them around. Alright, so next we'll go ahead and go into posability. Start with neck breaker here, bicep swivel, elbows, no rotating wrist, ratchet in thighs, swivel just before the knees, full knee motion, and he doesn't even have feet, let alone ankles, so that's not in the question. Okay. As for mobile crane, no bicep swivel, unfortunately. Elbows, no articulated wrists. So not a lot of range of movement in terms of the arms there. He does have the ball jointed thighs, thigh swivel, full bending at the knees, and he doesn't have official feet either. In fact, Giant's head is one of his feet, so no ankles there for him either. Okay, one last look at each of these. Alright, for whatever reason, that's just scaring me. Let's go ahead and get that balanced. Okay, and sorry about that, guys. But there we go. One last look at those two. Okay, I'm moving them off. I'll go ahead and get into the cement mixers now. Okay, Mad Blender on the TFC side. And let's go ahead and get Mixmaster out of here. And as you can notice, a lot of the MakeToy bots are smaller, but Mixmaster actually is the same height as the Hercules bots, which is fantastic. And I'm not going to lie, I love the look of Mixmaster. And before I even get started, one little Easter egg that I wanted to point out. The blender on the back, it actually folds down so that he has an eye viewer and a missile launcher. So for me, that's really cool. But, going ahead, turning these guys around. side view. And there we go. Now let's take a look at some of the articulation on each of them. Alright. Start with Mixmaster, ball joint shoulders. Okay. Full articulation at the waist. It's actually on a ball joint. Okay. He definitely has articulated knees, full bending, as well as thigh swivel. And his feet are on ball joints, so they have full rotation there. So that's really cool. And his head does, even though it doesn't look like it, it moves side to side. It actually has 360 degrees of movement in terms of turning. Now, with Mr. Mad Blender, head definitely rotates. Shoulders, they go up and down, in and out, but they're not on a ball joint or anything like that. Bicep swivel, no wrist articulation. And to point out, Mixmaster looks like he has wrist articulation because it has slits or indentations right before the wrist, but it doesn't. Go back to Mad Blender over here. Ratcheting thighs, thigh articulation, and full bending at the knees. His feet kind of just pop out from the cab, so no ankle articulation or anything like that. So taking one more look at these guys. There you go. Alright, let's look at the big boys here. We'll go ahead and look at the dump trucks. We're going to go ahead and go with MakeToys dump truck versus Heavy Labor. And Heavy Labor is definitely my favorite of the TFC bots. He's just a big, he looks just like a big bruiser. I mean, both of them do, but for me, the TFC version just like screams it. But anyways, looking at them side by side here, more of a frontal view. Okay. To the side, you can see the dump truck has those big shoulder pads. Now, one problem that I want to point out with dump truck, he was made so that his ankles aren't even with his feet, so he doesn't have true ankle support at all, actually, because they're too short. So you have to basically kind of lean him forward for him to balance on his feet, because his ankles are pretty much non-existent. Okay, so looking at him from the back. Okay, and turning them back around. Both of them. Okay. Now taking a look at the articulation. Dump truck. Bicep swivel. Elbows. Wrist articulation, which is awesome. Been a couple of toys since we've seen that. Ratcheting thighs. Thigh swivel that actually ratchets as well. Full knee bend. And even though his feet are on a ball joint, he doesn't really have ankle swivel because he doesn't have heels. So I mean, when it comes to his feet, everything below his shin, you're pretty much using it for what it's worth. Alright? Now, Heavy Labor. Take a look at him. Shoulders on ball joints, so that's awesome. Have the ability to bring the shoulders back some. Elbow articulation. No wrist articulation. Okay. Ratcheting thighs. Full knee articulation, in and out. Feet, but no, no ankle articulation or anything like that. So one last look at these bad boys before I put them down and see what I mean. Like I said, dump truck's pretty hard to pose because of those feet. So one last look, and on to the next. Okay, we'll go ahead and go with the shovel box. Or the scoop box, actually. Sorry about that. Okay, so on the TFC side, we've got Excavator, MakeToys, Excavator. So taking a quick look at them, one thing you'll notice, the shovel on Excavator, you can put it on the back, you can put it on the arm, it's removable. However, on Excavator, it is not, even though it's so small that it really doesn't hinder his movement or balance or anything like that. But the option would be nice. Now taking a look at them, turning them around, sorry about that. Side view, and back to the front. Okay, now looking at the articulation, Excavator first, bicep swivel, elbows, rotating wrist, ball jointed thighs, thigh swivel, knees, and articulated feet with stable ankles. Okay, and he does rotate at the wrist, or at the waist. Alright, now Excavator. Shoulders in and out, back and forth, bicep swivel, articulated wrist, thighs on ball joints, thigh swivel, knees, feet with ankle support, but unfortunately no ball jointed ankles or anything like that. And there you go. Those are 2 scoop bots. Alright, actually get them off the screen here. And last but not least, our shovel bots, neck breaker, and on the MakeToys side, I like to switch their sides. My bad. Oops. And I apologize in advance. For whatever reason, my neck breaker has very, very weak thigh ball joints. They're really loose. But we've got neck breaker and Bulldozer. So, turning them around, get his ankle back locked down. Turning them around. I'm actually going to hold him while I turn him around. Okay, now looking at articulation, we'll go ahead and start with neck breaker. Shoulders, they don't move in and out, but just inside the shoulder they move in and out, so it balances out. So full shoulder articulation, bicep swivel, elbows, no wrist articulation, ball jointed thighs, does have thigh swivel, full bend at the knees, and no ankle articulation. Alright, now standing him back up as best as possible because he angers me. Alright, now Bulldozer. Shoulders on ball joints, bicep swivel, elbows, wrist articulation. Alright, thighs on ball joints, thigh swivel, knees, and rotating feet with the twistable feet there, as well as ankle support, making for a variety of poses. So one last look at them. Alright. Alright, now final thoughts on these robot modes. And for the TFC side, they have a very, very uniform look. From the size to the faces, you can definitely tell that they're a team of robots. And for me, that's a blessing and a curse. Because even though they look like a team, they look so much alike that it almost looks like those movies where you see a bad guy try to clone himself. But then instead of making like perfect clones, he just like makes a bunch of people who sort of look like him but have like weird little defects and stuff like that for humor. Whereas the MakeToys bots, and I'll go ahead and zoom in on those a little bit, they all vary. They have different aesthetics. Well, they all share the same aesthetic, but they all have different sizes, different faces, you know, and they look like a team, but they all look so different at the same time. They have a lot more personality. Like if I were to read a comic just about the Constructicons, I'd much rather see the robots drawn like the MakeToys version than the TFC version. Not that either is bad, but for my money and my choice, I want the robots who I can display in robot mode and actually really be able to tell them apart. These robots scream personality. They have a great look, a great style, and for me, when it comes to bot mode, MakeToys has got it. But, as per usual, you may not agree, and I respect that, but at the same time, that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Tune in for next round. We go into the full Gestalt mode, so I look forward to doing that and wrapping this up. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.